Okay, hi. Okay, we meet again. Just now, before this session, we already explore two types of binding. First is teaching method. Second is adhesive method. Next, we will look into mechanical method. So for the mechanical binding, this is the more fancy binding that we have, but little applied for the commercial uh, industry. Okay, okay. So we have mechanical binding can be divided into numbers of type. Spiral binding. Also, we have wire O binding, and also we have plastic binding. Let's explore one by one. Okay, for the spiral binding, this is suitable for manual book or workbook. This is only single loop of metal. After this slide, I will explain to you the sample of spiral binding. So advantages of spiral binding, leave later than adhesive binding, meaning to say that it's easier for you to hold this kind of publication in yours on the one hand or single hand. It's easier to turn around and ease of use. Okay, however, there are numbers of disadvantages of spiral binding. Of course, being applied in the side, the binding, no printable spine. It's not appropriate for the book that want to display for the bookstore because we don't have printable spine. As we discussed before, if the publication do not have the printable spine, so we do not know the information about the book. That is why the second point mentioned that spiral binding or any binding that do not have printable spine, it is not suit for library or book display. Okay, facing pages step out when open. When too thick publication and apply spiral binding, it's hard for you to flip the paper. And of course, since the spiral binding applied side uh, binding is require greater margin. Okay. Okay, this is what I explained it to you before. It's apply side binding, so it is require greater margin. So your text will begin about 2 inch from the left side, okay, or else your text or information being punched together with the another area of the margin area. Okay, this is a spiral binding, single loop of publication, rarely used because this is not durable kind of binding, but the most cheapest. A bit fancy, come up with the colorful version. Okay. Next is YO binding. Compared to spiral binding, this YO binding have double loop. Okay, this is a double loop. Okay, single area of the hole we have two wires. While in spiral binding, single holes only one wire. So of course, YO, uh, compared to spiral binding, YO the more durable. Okay, and then a bit attractive. It is suit for calendars, any manual books because it's leaf letter and easy turnaround. Okay, it's common use for your notebook as well. Okay, the disadvantages of YO bindings again no printable spine and it's not appropriate for library and bookstore display. Same to the one spiral binding. If the publication too thick and apply the YO binding, it is hard for you to flip the publication. And of course, it require greater margin. This is YO binding. Okay, a bit commonly used, especially for your notebook, but little available because as I mentioned to you before, we don't have this printable spine. When we don't have this printable spine, it's not suit for library and bookstore display. Next is under mechanical binding, we have plastic combining. This is commonly used. Okay. Oops. Like your assignment. Okay. Again, rarely available in bookstore because of do not have the printable spine. Okay, the advantages of plastic combining is suitable for the report or any materials that need frequently updating. So meaning to say is that by using this kind of binding, it's easier for you to update the content without uh, ruin the publication compared to the adhesive binding. It's available in many colors, a bit fancy. And again, as long as the mechanical binding, they share the same disadvantages. No printable spine, not appropriate for the book and library display, and it's require greater matching. Okay, that's all for today. We have covered already the binding specification. To recap the point that I explained to you, we have three types of binding. We have mechanical binding, adhesive binding, and stitching binding. And of course, each of them have advantages and disadvantages. Okay, I hope that you do understand about today's session and enjoy for the next session. Okay, bye.